y'all. Live, woot woot. All right. Live on all fronts. Let's make sure we got everything all set up here.
Remember what Ron Burgundy says, you're only as good as your sign off.
Luckily, I'm just signing on. Hello, friends. Ready for a little evening vinyasa, I hope. We'll get started at 5 p.m. Hey, Ashley, if you are just getting started or just jumping on, we're going to do a little bit of a creative sequence tonight. Pretty fluid motion throughout the whole practice. So get prepared to get your body moving, a little movement medicine. Hey, Shannon. If you can set yourself up where you have a little extra space, that will be superb, but don't worry about it. We'll make do with what we have, wherever you end up practicing today. I put a playlist together for tonight. If you want to use it, I think I put it in the description on both the YouTube and the Facebook information. But if not, you can always use whatever you want. Who's joining us on YouTube? All I know is there's two little bumps representing heads telling me that there's people there, but I don't know who they are. Vinyasa practice to begin in 7 minutos. Vinyasa in about 7 minutes if you're just joining in. If you feel in the mood for a little creative, juicy movement tonight, this is the practice for you. We're going to get playful. Almost time to get moving. 5 minutes and then we'll start practicing. I hope everybody had a lovely day, whether you're commuting to your kitchen or still commuting somewhere. Still nice to cap your day with a little yoga practice. Hey, Rebecca. I'm so impressed by you. You're being more than consistent. You were like showing up for real. Almost time to get going. Here, I'll add the playlist over here too. Oh gosh, that's challenging, Rebecca. It must make you feel like you're going like stir crazy. All right. Bye. See you, darling. I tried to convince my husband to come take class again tonight, but he had work-related things to get done. So no yoga partner this evening. And one of these days I'll let my little puppy up here for a class, but she thinks everything is all about her, which I mean, for the most part it is, but yoga is the one thing, at least when I'm teaching. If you're just jumping on, you're jumping on for an hour-long vinyasa practice. We're going to get a little flowy today. Fairly constant movement. Hey, Katerina and Dana. All the lovely people joining. Every last one of you is going to get hugged to death when we actually can be in the studio again. I know a lot of people have like strong feelings one way or the other about like having to do partner yoga stuff in class, but man, like just being able to like be in the same room, I want to teach all kinds of partner stuff just so that we can take advantage of being able to be near each other. It's all good. You can jump in whenever, Dana. The playlist is called, Rebecca, it's called Vinyasa in Isolation or something like that. It's a little bit further down because I started making it a while ago. I've taught a bunch of rhythm and flow classes in between. It's a fairly mellow playlist, but feel free to use any of the other ones if you prefer. It should be like, there's a link in the live thing. Perfecto. This first 10 minutes is the most awkward thing in the world. I miss real conversations. You should see the bottom of them. They're really not cute right now, but thank you. All right, it's 5 o'clock, so it's time to get started. You don't necessarily need props, but I like having them handy. So if you have blocks and a strap, you might want to grab those. And we're going to start actually standing day. So coming up to the top of your mat with your feet about hips width distance apart. And just taking a moment to calibrate. So there's the opportunity to find your off balance, a little rocking forward and backward and side to side. So we feel what it's like when we're about to tip over. And you might even let yourself get to the point where you have to kind of catch yourself and come back to center. We learn a lot when we're not on balance. And then slowly but surely, you're going to start to make that exploration of being off balance become more and more subtle so that we're getting closer and closer to finding the sense of connection down through the feet into the floor. And I recommend doing this with eyes closed so you can feel the way the rest of the body responds and kind of recalibrates. It's almost like if you've ever seen one of those punching bags, like the response when you first hit it is going to be big action, and then slowly but surely it's going to find its calm, it's going to find its center, and that's what you're looking for. But you don't have to rush to get there. This is an opportunity to feel maybe if there is habits or tendencies in your body that keep us slightly away from what center really is, if we have a tendency to put more weight in one foot and in the other. Until eventually we feel this beautiful bone stacking, this sense of knees being over ankles, and hips being over knees, and shoulders being over hips. And the crown of the head just kind of lightly floating over top of all of it, that there can be a sense of easing or relaxing some of your musculature because we've got our bones all balanced. And then take a moment to breathe into this shape. So not just through your torso, but imagine that you are breathing in through your whole body, through the feet that are on the floor, through the crown of the head, the spaces between your fingers. And with that breath in, there's a press or a surge of your energy into the space around you. And then with an open mouth exhale, rooting down, a reach or a groundedness through your feet into the floor. 2 more breaths like that. Inhale, fill up, take up space energetically. And exhale, feel connected to the earth, to the other people who, though we can't see them, are practicing with us at this moment. One last time. And then sweep your arms in a big, wide circle. Take up some space. So really activate the sense of your fingertips energetically expanding out in that big, wide, circular action. Bringing your palms to gently press above your head before bringing your hands down in front of your heart in a moment to just set intention for your practice. Hannah, who teaches for Yoga Factory, was kind enough to share a really gentle and lovely reminder that there's this tendency right now, I think, because we're all at home and we're cooped up and maybe we're eating more than we want to feel as though we have to whip our bodies into shape. And I want us to instead tonight explore the joy of movement for movement's sake. That movement is an opportunity to intuit the medicine that you might need. And that it's already there. This isn't something that you have to change or fix. It's just a matter of tapping into your power. Let your hands release down next to your sides and start to gently roll down your spine. I like to have a little softness in the knees for this. So you're letting your chin drop down towards your chest. You're letting your upper back widen, space between your shoulder blades widen. And you're working to see if you can find articulation of each of the vertebrae. You might even wiggle your arms a little bit. Find a little tone in the belly to support your lower back, especially if you have ever had weaknesses or trouble with your lower back or SI joint issues. And then once you're in that forward fold, find a half lift, bringing your hands to your shin bones, rising up halfway with a nice long spine. And then exhale, drape your belly back onto your thighs, release your forehead down towards your shins. Maybe reaching for opposite elbows in front of or behind the legs, but more importantly, just letting the torso hang and taking a little moment of a movement here, folded forward, letting your torso sway gently side to side. Maybe again finding or recalibrating that sense of connection down to the floor, finding the off balance and then coming back to that center. Then release your hands all the way down to the mat. Slide the hands up the shin bones again. Find your half lift.
And exhale, release into your forward fold, bending your knees, hollowing the belly button back and relaxing through the crown of the head. Plant your palms, step those feet back. Let's come into a downward facing dog. Bending your knees, lifting those sits bones way up towards the ceiling so that you're feeling a little bit more of a curve in your lower back. Keep pulling that navel towards the spine. Little wiggle of your hips side to side. And then exhale, press both heels down towards the floor, lengthening the backs of your thighs, the backs of your calves. Noticing if weight starts to come forward towards your hands, and instead press down into all 10 of your fingers, and from the sides of your body, lift up and back so that your peak is really at that spot where your tailbone is going sky high. And a little bit of a bend in your knees and roll forward through your spine, one vertebra at a time here, like you were moving through mud or molasses. No rush to come to your high plank pose. And when you arrive there, the shoulders are in front of the wrists. Take a step back with your feet. And then exhale, elbows hug in towards the sides of the body. And we're going to lower all the way down. If you need to bring knees to the floor for that, you always can. Bring your forehead to rest on the floor first. And then reset, maybe slide the hands a little bit closer to the base of your ribs. Press the tops of the feet down into the floor. And then inhale, curl up into your cobra pose. And then exhale, lower all the way back down onto your forehead. So staying rooted through your feet and your pubic bone. Inhale to curl up. And exhale to release all the way back down, one vertebra at a time. One last time, healing all the way up. Curl your toes under, send the sides of the waist up and back, downward facing dog. Walk your hands all the way back to your feet. So now you're at the back of the mat in a forward fold. Rolling up your spine from here, one vertebra at a time, coming all the way up to stand. No rush to get there. At the top of the spine, sweep those arms up to frame your ears. Bring your palms to press above your head. Let's keep the feet separate for this. Lengthen the sides of the waist, interlace all but your forefinger. Cross your thumbs, and then exhale over towards the right. So the arm bones move back, and those pointer fingers are reaching towards the right side of the room as you press out through your left hip. Re-examine that sense of connection down into the floor so we don't lose our grounding as we rise up and over that invisible boundary along the right side of the ribs. Inhale back to center, and exhale, take it to the opposite side. Pressing out through your right hip now. Activate both legs on the floor, or both feet on the floor rather, that there's no sense of lifting that right foot up, that you're reaching the right heel all the way down. Lift up on the front of your kneecaps, lift up on the front of your hips, so you're closing off your front body as you take your gaze underneath of your right armpit. Inhale to draw it all the way back up through center. Exhale, release your hands, and imagine that there were little threads attached to your fingers. Someone cut those threads and your wrists drop, or your fingers drop so that your wrists are bent. And then somebody cuts the threads that are on your wrists and your elbows bent. And then you're gonna let those arms swing down next to your side. Start to let that take you all the way back down your spine. One vertebra at a time. So we're taking our time finding that little bit of wiggle as we come all the way back into our forward fold. Walk the hands back to the top of the mat so that you're in a downward facing dog. Roll forward through the spine, come into your high plank pose. Exhale, lower all the way onto your belly. Inhale, lifting up into your cobra pose, peel up. And exhale all the way back down again. So even as we pick up the pace, still working to find a sense of articulation, that we're not speeding it up so that the whole spine is moving as one unit. We're working to see if we can find all the little spaces in between head and neck are the last things to lift. One last time, rolling up and down the spine. Inhale, lifting up, traction and hands back, chest forward. Curl those toes under, take the sides of the waist up and back, downward facing dog. Looking forward to the top of the mat, as many steps as you need to get there. We're going to step to a forward fold at the top of the mat, feet hips width distance apart. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, release into that forward fold. Roll all the way up your spine, head and shoulders the last things to arrive all the way up. Sweep those arms up towards the ceiling. Interlace all but your forefinger, cross your thumbs, lift up and out of the sides of the waist. As you exhale over to the right, step your left foot off of the mat over towards the right as well. So you're in a side bend, pressing out through your left hip. Right knee is in the same direction as your right toes. And you're kind of hugging in towards the midline, so you're not flaring onto the pinky edge of that right foot. Activate your left leg. Big lift up and out through the side of your body. Take one more big breath and big stretch. And then as you exhale, turn, pivot so that you're facing away from the front of your mat. Turn your toes out, exhale, find your goddess pose.
So elbows bend, knees press in the direction of your toes, and you're only going as low as you can keep those knees moving in the direction of the toes. Inhale, legs straighten. Exhale, pivot to face your left foot. Bend into your left knee, hands release all the way down to frame your left foot. So you're in a lunge here. Take it a little bit forward to back. Forward to back. Release your back knee all the way down to the floor. Untuck your back toes. Inhale, arms sweep up to frame your ears. Hands come to the back of your head. Move those elbows in tight towards the sides of your face. And start to make a little circle on the ceiling with your elbows. The squeeze of your inner thighs and the press of the big toe of your front foot and the toenails of your back foot into the floor are going to create a sense of grounding so that you don't lose your balance. Keep that. Keep a little core engagement as you find that circle. Inhale, elbows lift way up towards the sky. Look up, gaze up, hips forward, chest lifts. And then exhale, release your hands all the way down to frame your left foot. Curl your right toes under, lift your right knee off of the floor. Pivot to face the side so that both feet are facing in the same direction and come into a forward fold. Hips lift up high, forehead releases down towards the floor. Reach for opposite elbows here. Take a little sway side to side. Little inner rotation in your thighs so that that tailbone is going way up towards the ceiling, weight coming slightly forward towards the front of the foot. And then start to circle forward towards your right leg. So you're keeping the frame of your arms and they're going over to the right and you're going to come all the way back up to stand. Exhale, turn your toes out towards 10 and 2 o'clock. Let's come back into that goddess warrior pose. Pivot your hands to frame your right foot. Turn to face back towards that top left corner of the mat. So now you're in a lunge in the opposite direction. Take a little bit forward and back here. Let your back knee lower all the way down to the floor. Untuck those back toes. Press down to rise up. Hands to the back of your head. Interlace your fingers and make that circle on the ceiling. Keep squeezing inner thighs, but keep driving that left hip forward by scissoring the left inner thigh towards the right inner thigh. Filling that shape with breath. The stronger you keep the support of your lower belly, your outer abs, the more this becomes really, really juicy core work. And then elbows lift way up as you drive your hips forward. Curl the back of the head into the support of the hands. Lift your chest, lift your heart. Exhale, hands release all the way down to frame that front foot. Curl your back toes under, lift your back knee, and step forward to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lifts, and exhale, release to your forward folds. Inhale, circle those arms all the way out and up, bring your palms to press above your head, and exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach up, and release all but your forefinger, cross your thumbs, sides of the body lengthen. As you exhale, tilt over towards the left, and then step your right foot over towards the left. So you're in your lunge, right foot over towards the left knee, left toes in the same direction, pressing out through your right hip. So you want that nice long side body stretch. Arm bones move back, gaze goes underneath of your right armpit. Bring the arms back to center, pivot the toes to face the side of your mat. Bend your knees, let's come into goddess warrior pose. Hands can come to the tops of the thighs for this one so that you can really drop the pelvis low. I want you to feel a really strong sense of stretch in your inner thighs and realizing how backlit this one is. Let's see if we can help that out a little bit. Inhale, straighten both of your legs. Pivot so that you're facing the back of the mat. Bring your hands down to frame your right foot. Take it a little bit forward to back here. Back knee lowers all the way down to the floor. Inhale, arms reach up to frame your ears. Hands to the back of your head. Make that little circle on the ceiling with your elbows. Inner thighs squeeze. Elbows lift way up towards the sky. Exhale, hands release all the way down to frame that front foot. Curl the back toes under, lift the back knee, pivot to your wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release. Crown of the head down towards the floor. Sits bones up. So you're stacking your hips and your shoulders, elbows bending back to draw the crown of the head down. Relax through the back of the neck and the shoulders. Tighten the lower belly and try to lengthen the side body to bring the crown of the head closer to the floor as you bring the weight forward. Inhale to your half lift, pivot to face forward, left toes face the front of the mat. Take a little rock forward to back, opening and closing that back ankle.
Back knee lowers all the way down to the floor. Untuck those back toes, sweep the arms up. Hands to the back of the head. Elbows lift, make that circle on the ceiling. Inhale, elbows lift, hips forward, chest curls, open, open, open. Exhale, hands release all the way down to freeing that front foot. This time you're gonna step the left foot back to meet the right foot. Let's take it high to low. Option to come through your traditional chaturanga. Elbows hug tight and back, lower halfway down. Press back, bring the tops of the feet to the floor, straighten the legs, hips lifted, traction the hands back to draw the chest forward, curl the gaze up. And then curl those toes under, take the sides of the waist towards the back of the room, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg goes towards the sky. Start to pivot so that you're on the outside of your left foot. Now you can reach through your right pinky toe, like the pinky side of your right foot, and stay here with both hands on the mat. Or keep driving the weight of the body up and back like you were in downward facing dog, and see if you can lift your right hand up towards the ceiling. Press those hips away from the floor, wrap your shoulder blades together, turning your chest, and then bend that right knee. Bring the right foot down to the floor, lift the hips. Exhale, lower the hips down towards the floor. Right arm sweeps towards the top of the mat. Press those hips up towards the ceiling. Come back into your wild thing pose. Letting that left arm stay straight, hips lower, right arm sweeps across the chest, and then press those hips up. One last time, drop it low. And then press it all the way up towards the sky. Right hand comes all the way back down to the floor, right leg goes sky high. Step your right foot to the left edge of the mat. So it's like a crisscross action. Let your back knee lower all the way down to the floor here. Press down, squeeze. It's gonna be a little bit more challenging for your balance. Sweep those arms all the way up to frame your ears. Hands to the back of the head, elbows curl up. Keep squeezing those inner thighs. Pull your right, squeeze your right glute, pull it back. Left hip pulls forward. Exhale, hands release all the way down to frame your front foot. Curl your back toes under, you're gonna step to a crisscross. So left foot comes behind the right foot. Line up the pinky edges of your feet. Inhale to a half lift, come up onto the balls of the feet. Squeeze the inner thighs, power up your lower belly, and then see if you can take your arms straight back behind you. Stay up on the balls of the feet. Let those heels release down as the arms sweep all the way up to frame your ears. And then exhale, step the feet hips width distance apart and bring your hands to heart center. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, fold all the way back down to the floor. Inhale, half lift. Plant your palms, step or jump the feet back, landing at the bottom of the push-up if you'd like. Upward facing dog or cobra pose. And then exhale, hips back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg goes up sky high. Option to stay put here. Or start to rock to the pinky edge of your right foot. Keep pressing those hips up high. There's a sense of suctioning the foot and the hand that are still on the mat towards one another. So you might be up on left fingertips, or you might see if you can send that left arm up towards the ceiling. Try to turn your chest and your hips to face the side of the room. Now bend your left knee, bring it behind your right foot. Flip your hips to face the ceiling. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. Drop your hips low, keep the right arm straight, sweep the left arm towards the front of the mat, and then press the hips back up again. Reach the left arm up and over your ear, wild thing pose. 2 more times, drop it low, and lift it up. Coordinating movement with breath, one last time. Send that arm all the way up towards the ceiling, and then place that left hand all the way down, left leg goes sky high. Step the left foot to the right side of the mat, so you're crisscrossing. Back knee lowers down. It's gonna take a little bit more balance. Drive those hips forward, squeeze the inner thighs, send it all the way up. Hands to the back of the head, curling open through your chest. Pull that right hip crease forward, pull the outside of your left booty back. Let those hands release all the way down to frame your front foot. Slide your left foot behind your right foot. Squeeze those inner thighs together, lining up the pinky edges of your feet. Look forward, come up onto the balls of the feet. Keep the tone of the belly, the squeeze of the outsides of the glutes. Sweep those arms back. Staying here and breathing. Chest and gaze forward for 3. A little higher on the balls of the feet, 2.
On one, heels to the floor, arms reach all the way up to front of your ears. Exhale, feet together this time. Hands to heart center, sink your hips low, as if you were sitting back into an invisible chair. So Utkatasana pose. Hands are in front of your chest. Chest is lifted, gaze is forward. Take that left elbow, hold it to the outside of your right thigh. Line up the knees, line up the hips, pressing down to turn from your belly, from your chest, taking yourself in the direction of lining up your chest and your thumb. Inhale, rising all the way back up to center, arms sweep up to free your ears. And then exhale, hands to the heart. Right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Press down, turn from your belly, from your chest. One more in each direction. Inhale it up. Exhale, squeeze and turn. Last one. Inhale, reach. And exhale, twist. Inhale, reach those arms all the way back up again. Exhale, hands to heart, left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Bring the weight into your right foot, come up onto the ball of your left foot, and glide the left foot over to the right. So you're coming into a twisty twist. Press down into that bottom arm, turn from your belly, from your chest, firming up that back leg. You're high on the ball of the back foot. And then sweep those arms all the way up to frame your ears. Spin your back foot out, heel to heel alignment. And then straighten that front leg. You're going to pivot both sets of toes to face the long edge of the mat. Pivot the left toes to face that back right corner. And then reach it forward. You're going to take it down into Trikonasana pose. So squeezing that left hip in and back. Squeezing your right booty cheek towards the top left corner of the mat as you take your gaze up towards the sky. Two more breaths. Keep toning the sides of your abs. So those two strips of abdominal wall that flank your belly button. And then as you start to lift up, slide your left heel out, and sink all the way down into Skandasana. Right shoulder presses into right thigh. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. If you can, you're working to bring that right heel all the way down towards the floor. Some of us won't get quite there, or you might have to readjust yourself a little bit. Lift up through the crown of the head, widen your wingspan. Release both hands all the way down to the floor. We're going to pivot so that we're in a lunge facing back towards what was the front of your mat. So right toes turn to face forward. You're coming into your lunge. Take a little rock forward and back. Plant your palms in front of your right toes and straighten your right leg. Send the left foot sky high. So it's like you're in a standing split. And then come up onto the ball of your right foot. Arms stay straight and strong. Let's see if we can kick and switch. So then the left foot is at the top of the mat. Take a giant step back. Land in your lunge. And then inhale, arms sweep up to frame your ears. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Take that right elbow, hook it to the outside of your left thigh. Pull your right hip back, your right heel back, turning from your belly, from your chest. And then let's step that back foot forward. So you're standing in your Utkatasana twist at the top of the mat. Inhale to unwind. And you're not going to be facing forward. That's okay. Stay with it. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take it, twist to the right. Inhale back to center, arms up. Keep low and back with those hips. Exhale, hands to the heart. Right elbow to the outside of your left thigh. Take it right to left at your own pace. Slow and controlled. Nice work. Last one. Next time that right elbow is hooked over the left thigh. Let's stay there. Come up onto the ball of your right foot. Step your right foot over towards the left edge of the mat. So you're in a twisty twist. Firming up those inner thighs, turning from your belly, from your chest. Gaze going up towards the ceiling. Inhale to unwind all the way through center. Straighten that front leg, pivot your toes. Right toes turn to face the back of the mat. Let's find our Trikonasana pose. Right arm reaches, right hip plugs in and back. And you're going to circle that right arm down. Back of your right hand pressing into the inside of your right calf. Squeezing those inner thighs. Maybe sliding a little bit further down. 2 more breaths. As you start to come all the way back up again, you're going to start to bend into your left knee. Right heel slides away, away, away until you're coming all the way down into your judo squat. Left shoulder to the inside of your left thigh, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Keep dropping your pelvis low, but lifting your chest up. Active flex of those right toes up towards the ceiling. And then add a little bit of a twist, opening towards the right hand, and just moving back behind you. And then exhale, release those hands down to the floor. Pivot to face back towards the front of the mat in a lunge. Take it a little bit forward to back. Bring the weight forward, hands to the floor. Lift your right leg up towards the ceiling. Arms are straight and strong. Lifting from the back of your right thigh. Bend your left knee and switch hop. Right foot is at the top of the mat. Take that giant step back. Land in your lunge. Arms reach all the way up to front of your ears. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take your left elbow, hook it to the outside of your left thigh. Turn from your belly, from your chest. Step forward with your back foot. You're back in your Utkatasana pose. Inhale, arms sweep all the way up to front of your ears. Exhale, rise to stand. Drive your hips forward, bend your elbows. Hips up, elbows up, chest lifts. Keep firming up your belly. One more big breath in, and a big breath out. Inhale, rising all the way back up through center. Exhale, hands to heart center. Let's sit back into Utkatasana pose. Hips are low and back. Arms reach up to front of the ears. Exhale, hands to heart center. This time, take that left elbow, hook it to the outside of your right thigh. Stay with that and start to come up onto the balls of the feet, sinking your hips low, but squeeze your ankles together, your calves, your inner thighs, until your sits bones are kind of hovering over top of your heels. Then release your hands to the floor on the outside of that right leg. Now you might be turning your hands to face away from your hip, or if you wanted a little bit more of a challenge, just that left elbow is hooking on the outside of your left, or rather right thigh. Hands are turning to face forward for some variation of side crow. Elbows bend back, or maybe they stay straight. Look forward and lift your feet, and then maybe those legs split. Breathing for 3. Reach through the feet for 2. On one, knees back together. Bring it back to center. And then let's rise up into a forward fold. Legs straight and forehead towards your shins. Inhale to your half lift. Exhale, clench your palms. Step or jump your feet back. Vinyasa or downward facing dog. That's where we'll meet. Inhale, right leg goes sky high. Right knee bends, right hip opens. Maybe you're rocking to the outer edge of that left foot. Maybe the right hand is staying on the floor, or maybe your right hand is going up. Maybe right hand is catching the top of your right foot and you're kicking back. So you have to have all 4 corners of that left foot grounded if you wanted to go for this variation. Release the foot, bring the right foot to the floor. Right arm reaches up and over your ear. Exhale, drop the pelvis low. Inhale, reach it all the way up. Press those hips high. 2 more times, drop it down, almost grazing the floor with that bottom leg, and lift it up. 1 more time. Reaching all the way up and over. Take it back into your 3-legged dog. Right leg goes up sky high. Exhale, step that right foot all the way up in between your hands. Inhale, rise all the way up into your high lunge pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take that left elbow, hook it to the outside of the thigh. Option to split the hands here. Left hand to the outside of the foot. Right arm reaching up towards the ceiling. Maybe that right hand comes around the back. Maybe the hands clasp underneath of that front hip. Lengthen your head forward. Pull your right shoulder back, your right hip back. Turn your gaze up towards the sky. Release the bind if you have it. And let's cartwheel all the way to warrior 2. Arms reaching towards the front and the back of the mat. Revolve it, back hand lowers, right palm flips face up. Straighten your front leg. Lengthen the whole right side of your body. And then reach it forward again. Right hand comes down. Some variation of Trikonasana. Maybe right hand comes to the inside of the foot this time. Maybe you go for that right big toe grip. But right hip crease pulls back. Right side body lengthens. Left glute squeezes in.
As you come up, start to bend into your back knee, hands to heart center as you come up onto your right heel, Skandasana, or judo squat. Left hand down, right arm up. Option to work towards a half or a full bind if it's there for you. Maybe hands clasp on the outside of that left hip. Pull the right shoulder back. Release your hands all the way down to the floor, and we're going to take it right to left. So hands in front of your chest, or hands on the floor, and you're going to take it to the front and the back of the mat, trying to stay as low as you possibly can. So you're using those inner thigh muscles, those outer glutes to support you as you rock front to back. And then the next time that you're at center, turning the toes forward, land your palms on the floor. Start to walk your hands closer to your left toes. So listen up for this one, it takes a little practice. You're gonna kind of do like a sideways crawl with your feet. So you're coming up onto the balls of the feet, and you're gonna hop right foot and then left foot. And then we're gonna take it to the top of the mat. Hop left foot and then right foot. See if you can get a few hops in the space that you have, front to back. So you can watch me if you want to get an idea. One foot and then the other. It's like a little gorilla walk. Hands over towards the left. Right foot hops, left foot hops. Back to the top of the mat, hands towards the right foot. Left foot hops, right foot hops. One more time, let's take it to the center. Last hop, you're gonna bring it back so that you're in your wide forward fold. Reach for the clasp of opposite elbows. Circle your arms forward towards your right leg. Come all the way up to stand. And then come back into warrior two. Arms reaching towards the front and the back of the room. Let's revolve it one more time. Back hand lowers. Right palm flips face up. And then send that right hand in front of your right toes for your balancing Ardha Chandrasana. Spring off of your back foot and extend straight back with your left leg. Right hip crease pulls back. Right side body long. Left arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Now option to stay put here, or maybe that right hand lifts towards the chest. One more time, take that giant step back, rising all the way up to your warrior two, revolve it. Cartwheel your hands down to frame your front foot. Send that right leg back. Maybe right leg stays lifted this time as you move through your vinyasa. Looking forward to the top of the mat, options to play with a little handstand hopping here. Bend your knees, lift those hips way up, take a big breath in. And as you exhale, kick your heels towards your glutes, draw your knees towards your chest. See if you can get a little bit of air time. 2 more hops, if you're playing with it. And then see if you can land with your feet together at the top of the mat. Bend your knees, Utkatasana pose. Arms sweep all the way up to frame your ears. And then exhale, rise to stand, hips forward, elbows bend, chest lifts. Inhale, arms back up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Set it back into your Utkatasana. Right elbow hooks to the outside of your left thigh. Right hip, right knee, pull back, turn from your belly, from your chest. Squeeze those inner thighs and start to come up onto the balls of the feet. Take your time, bring it all the way down. Setting yourself up for your side crow pose. So either hands facing away from that hip, I'll turn so you have a better view, or both hands turn to face forward. Now the higher you can get that left thigh on the outside of your right tricep, the better. You want it above the elbow if possible. Squeeze those knees together, look forward. Maybe the arms stay pretty close to straight as you lift your feet, and then splitting your legs. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 2. On 1, feet back together. Let's straighten those legs. This time you're gonna walk your feet underneath of your hands. We're gonna take a little walk. So keeping your feet all the way up at your wrists, you're gonna walk to the back of the mat. Keeping contact between your palms and the bottoms of your feet. Belly strong, legs strong. Try to keep those legs pretty close to straight. And then walk it back to the top of the mat. I love this one. Once you're back at the top of the mat, inhale to your half lift. Exhale, plant your palms. Step, walk, or jump those feet back. Let's take it high and low plank. Upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And then exhale it back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale, left leg lifts up towards the sky. Left knee bends, left hip opens. Option to stay put here or start to rock to the pinky edge of your right foot. Lift your left hand up. Start to pivot those right toes to face back. Start to turn your chest and your hips to face up. And then see if you can catch the top of that left foot. Kick it back, open. Release the foot if you have it. Take it all the way back to your three-legged dog. And then take that giant step. Left foot comes all the way up in between your hands. High lunge. Arms sweep up to front of your ears. Exhale, hands to heart center. Keep that right hip crease pulling back. Right elbow comes to the outside of your left thigh. Press down to lift up. Option to stay here. If that arm comes all the way across, split your hands. Maybe that left arm comes around the back. Maybe the hands clasp underneath of the leg. So the key to this one working is that that armpit has to come in front of the knee. And then once you're there, pull that left shoulder back, left hip back, curl open. Right hip keeps pulling back as well. Unwind all the way to warrior two. Back foot unfurls, arms reach towards the front and the back of the mat, and then revolve it, back hand lowers, left arm lifts up and back, left leg straightens. Lengthen that left side body, coming into Trikonasana pose. Maybe you're catching the foot this time, or maybe you're just bringing those fingertips all the way down to the floor. Try to pull that left hip crease back and lengthen the left side body as you squeeze the outside of your right booty. Gaze goes up. Keep activating the legs so we're never collapsing into all of the fascia that is connecting things in the pelvis. As you start to lift up again, bending into your back knee, coming into your Skandasana. Left arm lifts up, maybe left hand comes behind the back. Maybe you're working towards that full bind. Hands clasp on the outside of your right hip. Left shoulder back, gaze goes towards the ceiling. And then release those hands all the way back down to the floor. So from here, you're gonna take it to the front and the back of the mat. Keep it low. Maybe coming all the way into Skandasana at the top of the mat and at the back of the mat. Next time the weight starts to come forward, let's come into warrior two, arms reaching towards the front and the back of the room. Revolve it, back hand lowers, left palm flips face up, and then take that left hand forward of your left toes, slide your right foot in, and let's find our balancing Ardha Chandrasana. Make sure I'm still in the frame here. So left side body is long, right foot lifts maybe even a little higher than the height of the hip, and then that right arm is reaching towards the ceiling. Now maybe you're staying here, or maybe you're bringing that left hand in front of the chest. Pulling that left hip crease back, firming up the leg. 3, 2. On 1, take that giant step back, land it back in warrior 2. And then cartwheel your hands down to frame that front foot. Maybe it's a one-legged vinyasa this time. Left leg goes back behind you. Bring it forward, lower halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale, hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Looking forward to the top of the mat, option to take those handstand hops again if you'd like. Bend those knees, maybe walk those feet in just a little bit so that your shoulders are closer to stacking over the wrists. Take a big breath in, and then exhale, hop and squeeze. See if you can get a little air time. Let's try it again. Breath is key. Inhale to breathe or to prepare. Exhale, hop. One last time. See if you can lift those feet up at the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale, arms sweep all the way out and up. Bring your palms to press above your head. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, reach those arms up. Interlace off at your forefinger, cross your thumbs. Arm bones move back. Exhale, lean over towards the right. Press, 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 press. Let it be a little bigger this time now that the body's warmer. Left shoulder back, gaze underneath the left armpit. Squeeze the legs together this time. Inhale back to center. Exhale, switch it. Second side. Inhale back to center. Exhale, elbows bend, hips forward, chest lift, squeeze, open. Always reach back up to frame your ears. And exhale, hands to heart center. Sit those hips low and back. Come into your Utkatasana pose. Left elbow to the outside of your right thigh. Squeeze and sink. Take it all the way down. Second time to give a try at your side crow with the option to take it slightly differently this time. So hands to the outside of that right leg. Maybe hands forward, maybe hands away. Lean forward, lift it up. Maybe splitting the legs. So for this one, you might take that left leg all the way back and then hop the feet so that you're coming into your bottom of a push-up. Your bottom of your Chaturanga Dandasana. We'll meet in downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts, right knee bends, right hip opens. Brought to the outside of that left foot. Start to pivot. Maybe catching the top of the foot with your hand. Kick that foot back, open, open, open. Release the foot down behind you. Drop the pelvis, this time bring it all the way down to the floor. So right foot is on the mat, left leg is extended. Right arm reaches towards the ceiling. Reach your right hand for the pinky edge of your left foot. Try to keep your right sits bone down and your right knee drawing in towards your right shoulder. Maybe right arm wraps around the outside of that right leg. Palm facing away from the hip. Hands will clasp on the outside of the right hip, and you're folding forward over that leg. Keep toning your belly. Now, the more you press the inside of your arm into your shin bone, the easier it's going to be to fold. Try to lengthen the sides of the waist rather than just rounds to come down. Inhale to rise all the way back up again. Lean back, lift your right foot, lift your left foot off of the floor. Try to keep your chest lifted. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 2. On 1, bring your left foot all the way down to the floor. Release the bind, left hand comes behind you, right arm reaches up towards the ceiling. Press those hips up. This time, let's see if you can step that right foot all the way up to the top of the mat. So you're coming all the way into your lunge. Inhale, arms sweep up to frame your ears. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take that left elbow to the outside of your right thigh, left hip, and left heel pull back. Option to split the hands one more time, or maybe this time you're coming into that bind, one last option. So you're either staying in your twist, or you're stepping that back foot forward. Bring the weight into your left foot, see if you can rise all the way to stand. Right foot forward, right leg straight. That's a revolved variation of bird of paradise. Bring it back down again, right foot to the floor. Step that left foot all the way back. Unwind all the way into warrior 2. Revolve your warrior 2, straightening your front leg. Exhale it forward, Trikonasana pose. From your Trikonasana, left arm comes up and over your ear, stretching out that left side body. All right, let's take it all the way to the back of the mat. Come into your Skandasana, your judo squat. So as you lift back up again, bending your left knee, sink it all the way down. Half bind, full bind, no bind. Maybe you're just bringing your forearms down to the floor, making this a little bit of a juicier stretch for the inside of that right groin area. Left heel presses down. And then pivot to face the back of the mat. We're going to take Pigeon Pose. Walk the left foot all the way over to the right edge of the mat and bring your back knee all the way down. Traction those inner thighs towards one another. And if you're like me and that left hip is lifted off of the floor and you want a little bit more support for it, go ahead and grab a block to put underneath. Walk your hands back next to your hips and traction your inner thighs towards one another as you work to bring your shoulders back so that they're lining up with your pelvis so that you're not forward of yourself. Squeezing inner thighs, right hip rolls towards the front of the mat. Pressing down to rise up. Maybe the option to bring your hands in front of your heart. Breathing for 3, keep squeezing, maybe hands around that front shin. Breathing for 2.
And then on one, go ahead and lower forward, but keep that squeeze of the inner thighs. Bring your forearms all the way down to the mat. Maybe you're pulling back with the hands or the pinky edges of your hands to draw the chest forward, and you'll notice that that intensifies the stretch a little bit. Close the eyes, slowing down your respiration. And then walk those hands back towards the legs to roll up your spine. Pivot towards your right. Bring both of your sits bones down to the floor. So now your left foot is on the inside of your right thigh. Let's bring that right hand to your left shin, and the left arm reaches up and over. Big side body stretch here. You might even work, and I'll turn forward for now just so that you can see me. You might even work to bring that right forearm down to the floor, hook the right thumb underneath of the right calf as that left arm reaches up and over. So you're working in the direction of maybe catching that big toe, but don't worry too much about it. Opening, opening, opening that side body stretch. You got the idea. I'll turn around so that we have the right direction for things. All right, let's bring that left hand back behind us. Press down to lift your hips up. Stargazer pose. Bring your right hand all the way down to the floor. Pivot your right toes to the mat and step that left foot to meet your right foot. So you're in downward facing dog. Roll forward through your spine, coming into high plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And then exhale those hips back. Take it to downward facing dog. Looking forward to your hands. Step, walk, hop. Inhale to your half lift. Don't worry what direction you're in, just stay. Exhale, hold. Inhale, Utkatasana pose. Sink those hips low and back. Arms reach up to frame your ears. Exhale, hands to heart center. Take that right elbow, hook it to the outside of your left thigh. Turn from the belly, from the chest. Start to sink your hips low. Keep squeezing those inner thighs together as you lower. Bring your hands down to the floor. Let's take our second try at crow pose on side number 2. Any variation that you'd like. With that option of shooting those legs back. So once the legs split, right foot goes back and then left foot goes back. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg goes up towards the sky, left knee bends, left hip opens. Rock to the pinky edge of your right foot. Start to flip those hips, maybe catching the top of the foot with your hand, kicking the foot back, opening the chest. Bring that left foot all the way down, and then exhale, lower your hips to the mat. Left arm reaches forward, catching the outside of your opposite foot. Maybe wrapping that shoulder in front of the thigh, maybe clasping the hands. Press the shoulder or the back of your arm into the shin bone and use that from which to fold forward. Trying to get a little bit longer against the sides of the body as you release the chest and the forehead down towards your chin. Inhale to lift back up again. Lean back. Lift your left foot off of the floor. Lift your right foot off of the floor. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 2. Nice work on 1. Bring that right leg all the way back down to the floor. Bring your left foot back down to the floor. Release, left hand comes behind you. Circle right arm all the way up and around, and you're coming back to your 3-legged dog. Step that left foot all the way through. Inhale, let's come into that high lunge pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. Right elbow hooks to the outside of your left thigh. Maybe staying here or maybe working towards the bind. If you're working towards that bind, remember that the armpit really has to hook over top of the knee. So the body has ways in which it's meant to fit itself. And then from here, maybe that back foot steps forward. Bring the weight into your right leg and see if you can rise all the way to stand. Press the shoulder into the thigh, rise up tall. Bring it all the way back down again. Step that right foot all the way to the back of the mat. Unwind into warrior 2. Arms out over your legs. Revolve it, back hand lowers. Left palm flips face up, let that straighten your front leg. Reach it forward and circle that arm down. So let's come into our Trikonasana variation. Pull that left hip crease back. Lengthen the left side of the waist. Squeeze the outside of the right booty. Reach that right arm up and over your ear, big side body stretch. Start to sink it towards the back of the mat. Bending into your right knee, coming up onto your left heel. Any variation of that Skandasana posture that you're taking, maybe this time you're bringing forearms down, tractioning the hands back to get a little bit more stretch on that left inner thigh. And then pivot forward and walk your right foot over towards the left so you're coming into your pigeon pose. You might be working to bring that calf close to parallel to the top of the mat. Or if you're like me and those hips are a little bit tighter, you might have that leg more to diagonal. Press down into your back toe. Scissor the inner thighs towards one another. Bring your hands next to your hips. Lift up nice and tall. Squeeze the inner thighs. Maybe hands come to the heart. Maybe hands come to that front shin. There's just a little extra balance, but you're really working to squeeze, squeeze, squeeze those inner thighs. Breathing for 3. For 2. And then on 1, start to bring those forearms down to the floor. Keep the activity of the inner thighs and roll that left hip forward. Pull your right sits bone over to the right. So give it its own lane. Slowing down your breath. All right, let's pivot so that you're bringing your left sits bone to the floor, right foot to the inside of your left thigh. And again, I'm going to turn so that you guys can see me. Left forearm down, left thumb hooks, or left hand comes to the inside of that right calf, or right thigh. And you're sweeping the right arm up and over. Big, big, big reach. The closer you bring that left shoulder to the inside of the thigh, the closer you're going to be to that hand maybe catching the top of your toes. And then there's a little bit of a twisting action happening here as well. You're rolling that chest open. Inhale to lift it all the way back up. Again, plant that right hand behind you. Press those hips up. And then lower those hips all the way back down to the floor. So one last try at an arm balance if you want it. Let's check on time here. We're getting close, but give you one last option. So option 1 is taking more of a seated happy baby. So you might just be drawing those knees back towards your armpits, chest is lifted, belly is in, and you're just seeing if you can balance here, really using your core and the strength of your upper body. Or you might be working towards a little bit of a stronger hip opener that takes us from a seated position into Titivasana. So the hardest part, I think, is actually getting both knees onto the outsides of the arms. So you're climbing your left knee up, or really whatever leg you want to start with. That knee is moving back and then up and over your shoulder, back and up and over the shoulder. And you're going to squeeze and clamp down so that it stays while you use basically just one arm to get the other one. And so you're climbing those legs onto the backs of the arms to the best of your ability. Then hands come to the floor, fingers are facing forward, chest is going forward, and you're going to start to bring your weight forward so that maybe you can lift your butt and straighten those legs, starting to hug those elbows in. And then when you're ready, bring it all the way back down again, bring the soles of the feet together, interlace your fingers around the tops of the toes, and fold forward over your legs. Squeeze the outsides of your glutes. You might use your elbows to gently press the calves down, or you might just let the knees kind of energetically reach out and towards the floor. Know that the object isn't the touching of your nose and your knees together. Inhale to roll yourself all the way back up into a seated position. Bring your hands to the outsides of your knees so that the soles of the feet come to the floor, and then very, very slowly start to lower yourself all the way down onto your back. Try to keep your feet glued to the mat so that it's one vertebra at a time making its way all the way down. And then once you've lowered all the way down onto your back, walking your feet in a little bit closer so that you can just barely graze the back of your heel with the middle finger. That's kind of like a
starting point, but really this measure is about making sure that your knee and your ankle are stacked. So if your hands don't touch the back of your ankle, don't worry about it. Press down into your feet to begin to roll up one vertebra at a time off of the floor, walking those arm bones underneath of you, interlacing your fingers, reaching your knuckles towards your heels as you drive your hips up and your chest up. Press the back of your head very gently into the floor so that there's some space between your cervical spine, your neck, and the mat. Shoulders roll down the back as the chest rolls up. Make sure that the inner and the outer edges of your foot are on the floor. 4 more breaths. Last big inhale. And then exhale, let those hips lower all the way back down to the floor. Let's find happy baby pose on our backs now. So driving those knees down towards the armpits, making sure that the back of your pelvis stays on the mat. So if you feel like your tailbone or your sacrum is lifted, see if you can reach it back down to the floor. See if you can widen your upper back to the mat. And just stay put for a moment. So we've been very active in our practice today. We've been a little all over the mat. So now see if you can just be anchored and still. Close your eyes. Soften where you can soften. Release the outsides of your feet. Draw your knees together. If you'd like, maybe crossing that left knee over top of your right knee. Bring the toes to the floor to scoot your right hip to the center of the mat, and then let both legs drop over to the right. And if you feel like your left shoulder is coming all the way off of the floor, you can always uncross your legs. And then you can also readjust by pressing the back of the head into the mat and scooting both of your shoulder blades over to the right. It will help. Lengthen the sides of your hips towards the top of your mat. Then turn your head away from your knees. Bring the legs back to center, opposite knee on top, right leg over top of your left leg. And then tuck those toes on the floor and bring your left hip underneath of you. Turn your head away from your legs. Recenter those shoulder blades if you need to. Inhale to draw the legs all the way back up to center. And let's let both legs extend all the way out on the floor for your Shavasana. And then your feet fall to the right and the left. Tucking the shoulders gently underneath of the back. Closing the eyes. Taking a long, slow breath in. Really fill the body up. And then open your mouth and exhale, letting there be a sense of release down into the floor. And so the stillness affords us the opportunity to integrate what we learn when we breathe and we move. There's all different ways, not just to practice yoga, but to move the body in a way that is giving us something. And I think it's so potent and powerful to find the ability to relinquish what we expect and to just be willing to learn something new. So let those granules kind of seep down into your skin, into your body, into your cells.
You are welcome to pause. I just don't want to take your time if you have other things that you needed to do, but feel free to pause or turn off the video if you'd like to stay in Shavasana for a longer period of time. Otherwise, just very slowly finding some movement, some breath, making your way up to a seated position. Bringing a hand to the belly, a hand to the chest, and breathing into the support of your hands, maybe kind of spreading that space. So the hand on your belly presses down, the hand on your chest lifts up. Open your mouth and exhale. Inhale, fill up. And exhale, release. One last time. Bring the hands together and lift your thumb knuckles up to your third eye center, just gently folding forward over your mat, offering your practice up to the betterment of all beings. Thank you all so much for practicing with me tonight. It was good to be moving with you, and I'm hoping that sooner than later we'll be seeing each other actually in the studio. But until then, enjoy, and can't wait to hear all the stories. All right. Good night, guys.